Keep your hands and head inside the vehicle at all times. Buckle your seatbelts, check your mirrors, sit on back and relax. It's lights out and away we go for the Tall and Short of It podcast. Happy New Year, everybody. You're listening to the new and improved Tall and Short of It podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Yeah. Over the holidays, we took a break, see some family, eat some food. We'll get into all of that, I'm sure. But yeah, like you said, just good to be back. Good to see you. Good to be here. And yeah, I think we've got a pretty decent show lined up. Some things to talk about. Some things to set up moving forward. But yeah, happy to be here. Aaron, give me your holiday breakdown. How was it? Nice. Sweet. It was overall pretty easy going. Sarah had me and Sarah had my parents over for dinner. She cooked a nice little meal, and then I lucked out, didn't have to do Christmas at her parents because their dad got the niece a kitten, and obviously we have Sasha. Sasha probably wouldn't do so well with a kitten. Yeah. So I was lucky enough to just be able to be the puppy sitter, and me and her hung out while Sarah went, ate some food, came on back. So it was overall pretty low key Christmas, and then the New Year's where we played some Magic and then turned in. It was pretty easy this year. Nice. Sure. Sure. Well, I think there's something about like the first ringing in the new year like hungover, especially if you're gonna be so punctuated about your life. Like, all right, those 365 are over. We're starting a new one. To start that segment, just like checked out. Yeah, like not much for me, but yeah, I think there's something to be said for raising a glass and celebrating. Mm-hmm. Sure. I imagine gyms love it though. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, that's got to be brutal because then all of a sudden it's just plus 60% capacity. Okay. Sure. Mhm. Sure. No, definitely not. But there is something to be, the starting for a month and not committing. That is tough. And it just feels like when you look around that those may be the ones you encounter. Because you have to feel like, well, in 3 months' time, how many of these individuals that I've never seen before am I still going to see? Yeah. Right. I've never had a gym membership, so I can't. These aren't my issues. I do prison workouts basically. I just use like my door frame, like the ground, my bunk bed. I do like, stomach ups on my bunk bed. I'll do Yep, 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 you got it. I do pull-ups on the girder beam. That's that my cellmate actually hung himself on. Um it's a great workout piece of equipment though. Yeah. Very, very much. It did not buckle at all. Go ahead. Right. Yeah, like I'm not sure what he's training for. If he thinks that maybe one day it'll help him impersonate a dog if a situation requires that. I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how valuable that exercise would be. Like if anything, it feels like you'd be creating issues. Like the body I'm not sure the body's like built to move like that. It would be different if we were supposed to move like that. So maybe he's building strength at the cost of something else. I don't know. It's like why? Right. Right. Is it about like embodying an animal? Is it about like grounding yourself in like being in touch with like where you came from as far as like you know no way. No way. No. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. But then again, I've never been a monkey, so could be the way. He may be onto something. Yeah. No, that's totally cool. That's crazy. Was Yeah, I think so. You can give me yours. Go ahead, start off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's big time, man. Those look really good just from a co-host perspective. That well done. Nice. Hmm. Yeah, that's brutal. Mm-hmm. Sure. Whoa. Sure. Dude, that's awesome. Sure. Right. That is pretty cool. And then for you to handle that, that would be a little bit because if you're able to do something like that well, does that factor in? Does that go on your permanent record in some way? Huh? Okay. Right. What would you call something like that? Like a no truck move in. Like where you're just like you just have like your bags and right, right. That's sick. I didn't know it was like that level of comfort and hospitality. Right. Wow, that's cool. Mhm. Nice. Nice. That's lunch, man. That sounds so cool. Nice. Big time, yeah. Mhm. Nice. Mm. Mhm. Yeah. Ooh, mm, ooh. Mhm. Brutal. Ooh, man. Nice. Mhm. Probably not. Yeah. Those are some slick headphones. Are those new as well? Nice. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Broken ankle, new headphones though, not bad. Sweet. Definitely. They are pretty slick. You're welcome. Yeah. All right. So the more I read it, the more I think it's dumb. So I'll just say it very quickly and forget about it. So they're forecasting for snow tonight, and I just find that exciting in a world that is getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and the winters are being like pushed back further into January. I think it's fun that we'll get a we've had frost, but they're calling for like snow. Um, so that'll be fun. So that's my rose for snow. My thorn, like you said, it's going around, baby. People got that cough. We had to close the business for a couple days. One of our clients, you know the whole shtick. So we just had to close our doors for a little bit. A couple of boring days, a bunch of negative tests, but we'll be back at it here shortly. And then we got a stack of at homes. Um, and then uh and then my seed was just about the holidays. Me and Sarah were pretty adamant in some aspects, and it turned up roses. We just are doing our best to cultivate like our own holidays, and we did that this year. I think we kept it rather headache free. We had some tough conversations overall, but the holiday spirit was in full swing here at the Shestock Schofield household. So that was my seed. Just looking ahead to like next year, other holidays. I think holiday or adult holidays inbound for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, like fuck it. If you want to be at the Grand Canyon for Christmas, you should be allowed and not feel guilty. That's the way I see it. Well, that's been my thing. I'm like, can we just like go away? Because then nobody can feel bad. It's not like, oh, well, why are you going there and not here? It's like, guess what? We're not going anywhere because we're exactly. That was my take. But maybe we'll get there one day. Um, but yeah, that's my rose thorn and seed. It was a good couple weeks break, but man, I'm happy to be back. Happy to be back in the chair, baby. Yeah, what do they say about girlfriends and lovers? Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Um, I couldn't find a good segue. But okay, here's a segue. The guards at a mall. No. So all I saw, right, were headlines about whether or not Lewis Hamilton was going to retire. So that yeah. So and I understand the mind games and the politics and the blah blah blah, but something tells me that there is more, like it's more about the media talking to other media rather than like there's actually a story there. And obviously, like, hot take, that's not news, but okay. Do you remember the Everyday Struggle morning show that was on Complex on YouTube? I think it was once a week. They had Joe Budden and DJ Academics sitting across from each other talk about hip hop topics. Do you remember this? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe recently, I don't remember Soldier Boy being on, but they did have a couple of guests on. They did have a couple of guests on. It was towards the end of Joe Budden's career and the start of DJ Academics' career before any of the hoopla. That's like where he got his name. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. The Breakfast Club, similar, yeah, similar thing. But at that time, it was the tail end of Joe Budden's career. He was arguably putting out some of his best music. It was the Some Love Lost, All Love Lost, No Love Lost. And then while he was doing the show, he put out Rage in the Machine. So it was like three or four good projects that the music was pretty good. So that's like where Joe Budden was. But at the time, because he was doing this Everyday Struggle show, people were calling him Media Joe. Like, you're not a rapper anymore. You're just like this pundit. Stop talking about having bars because you never had bars, and like, this and that. Where Joe was playing the expert, but people saw him as not so much the expert anymore because he was like never really that good. He just had some success later in his career. So I'm using this little anecdote to illustrate kind of what's been going on the last couple of weeks. Where is it just me, or was it a big feel of Media Nico just like drumming up a whole bunch of bullshit for headlines? Because all I was seeing were headlines that to me don't even seem fucking reasonable. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So fucking dramatic. Like, seriously dramatic. So I just want to make sure like that was your sense too. Like it seemed like just wild. Probably pretty fucking expensive too. Like he already signed with them to like that would be an enormous fine from like that. Wouldn't that be a pretty big breach of contract? Gotcha. Buyout clauses. Uh, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Well, there was the thing about like, um, would they try and recall Valtteri if? Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Mhm. Would be able to do that. Right. It all just seems like magical Christmas land. Mhm. Yeah. And then have it taken. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. No. It was just an easy place to point blame for the for the motorheads. Big time. Right. Mhm. And it's assuming the worst of his personality. That's assuming that he would be beaten down enough by that, those circumstances to say, "Man, fuck this, I'm done." Like that's assuming the worst of his character, and I think he's just proven to be better than that. Um, so it just seems crazy. Yeah, let's go for it. Sure. Okay. Well, it's surprising that because the same stat existed for the season of those three shared the podium. Wasn't it like 11 or 12 times or something? So yeah, that's for if that's happening multiple times, yeah, it's not a surprise that those two aren't going to get it because they're always being matched by the former, like by the other team. So that's really interesting that it was McLaren for the for Danny and Lando. Hmm. Sure. Hmm. Yeah, and especially based on, and this was part of my flavor of the week was I've been diving into some of the documentary series that they have on F1, and obviously McLaren is such a storied team and they have such a long history of winning. It's interesting to learn about the team from a retrospective because as a new fan, I know them as a team that's like looking better, and because of a new technical direction and some new young drivers, well, with Lando, a young driver in tandem with a veteran driver, they're getting they're getting like back up to the podium, and that's really exciting. But when you look at where the team came from, they were the team to beat. So it's interesting to see that it was partially due to their engine choice that led to some fluctuating success over a numerous amount of years. Hmm. Mhm. Yeah, go for it. Mm, 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 mhm, mhm. Yeah, it makes it sound like a power up. Mhm, mhm, yeah. I Yeah, I would tend to agree. I'm not sure that was the point of concern. I think the back markers being moved out of the way was a concern of safety. You know, I think you can have like qualms with. I think you could have qualms with the flip flop, but I don't know. I don't know. Like earning the back mark, like that's assuming every other race you're like built okay, you know what I'm picturing? I'm picturing Pikmin where the lead guy is like generating these guys behind him and like that's how you like do things. Like that's not how F1 is. You don't like collect back markers. That's kind of what this guy's take sounds like. Yes. Oh man. Right. Jeez. Sure, sure. Wow, dude, that's so funny, man. Like Yoshi pooping people out. Yeah, 100%. Wow. Yeah, this guy thinks it's Yoshi. Damn. Nah, that guy's crazy. Damn. Nice. Well, I know McLaren for sure has been a team that we have talked about probably since Daniel Ricciardo got signed to them. I know. Yeah. Was that this year? Or does he have 2 years in the car now? Carlos Sainz. Yes. Thank you. That's right. Okay. I hope so. And just overall, I, as a fan who knows nothing, am really hoping that the cost cap slash new car specifications lead to what they say it's going to lead to, better racing and more overtaking and blah blah blah. I'm really looking forward to the next season for that, for the like those 2 points alone. Plus it seems like we're going to have some pretty interesting continuing narratives from 2021. Well, before we totally leave the thing, I've got a little story for you. So, have you ever heard the name Max Mosley? Okay. So he was, I believe, the FIA president or CEO for a good number of years. Now, he was at the head during a time when I believe, if I just want to get the details right, McLaren was found to have technical data, like pages upon pages of technical data from the Williams garage. They were in physical possession of another team's like car technical information. Now, in Formula 1 up until that point, there was no, as I understand it, there that wasn't uncommon. People had spies in garages and on tracks and with binoculars and up on towers and hiding in trees, like trying to get information on cars. But this was the first time that it was brought to the FIA's like sanctioning table, whoever like like the rule making body was. This was the first time it was they were caught red-handed with like it was like boxes of information, right? So they were caught red handed. And this was the inception of the fines rule. And Max Mosley described it as, well, it wasn't necessarily malicious because people had been doing it, with spies and binoculars and whatever. So we didn't want to kick McLaren out of Formula One. Like, they were a winning team. There was money there and sponsors. So there had to be a punishment that wasn't just like kicking these people out of the sport. Because at the end of the day, you didn't want to remove them. You just wanted to, and this was Max Mosley's idea, you just wanted to be like gentlemen and sportsmen about it. So when you were caught maybe doing something against the rules or whatever, what should be the proper punishment just among gentlemen? Like, what are you supposed to do? You like flog him 50 times on the butt? What do what's the deal? So that was when they proposed 10K, 20K, 30K, like whatever the fine was going to be. And all the teams were like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine by me. And so he was at the forefront of maybe turning the conversation to who and what should be allowed in F1 instead to, well, if there's going to be fuckery, we can just charge these teams money. They don't have to be concerned with like being kicked out or removed or whatever. So that was when the fine started, and I thought that was a fascinating idea. Yeah, fill in some details. Okay, so I had said Williams. Yes. Yes. That was the detail that I was missing. That's what he talked about. Mhm. Yeah. But that means up until that point, they were just dealing in like slaps on the wrist and hey, don't do that anymore. Mm. Right. So that's the thing. And I think that's what Max was wanting to avoid. You don't want to call the cops on the people that you're racing against. Yeah. Mhm. Right. Right. Mhm. Yeah, and he interestingly enough, he was, as he put it, quite the disliked member of the F1 community because I think he took some hard stands on some aspects. Mhm. Yeah, and obviously what I'm talking about, he was explaining on. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. But yeah, and that was just part of some of the diving down I was doing on. They have a bunch of really good what would you say, just like resources, documentaries on the F1 TV that I was checking out. A lot of, obviously they were talking about Senna and Prost a lot. Cuz I guess that really is the before Lewis, that was like the big thing. And then like Michael Schumacher obviously was winning a lot, but it seems like Senna Prost was like the big thing in Formula One. That's like the Michael Jordan era of Formula One, it seems. Yeah. Kind of fun though, because it was like they both drove for McLaren for a while. What I thought was fascinating was it was part of Allen's retirement plan that, well, less of a plan, more of a reaction. He didn't want to be on the team with Senna again after all the shenanigans, trading championships back and forth, both of them both of them taking each other out in like crucial corners. Senna admitting later in an interview that he was like, "Yeah, I ran him off on purpose. It was payback." It's like, dude, that's insane. That's insane. Like, no wonder he didn't want to be on the same team with him again. But I, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. But I have to say that seeing all the different angles and clips and this weekend and that Grand Prix and this time and Senna here and Alain there, I have to say I think I understand like the Lewis Max thing a little bit more, and it makes me understand Christian Horner's attitude a little bit more. Like it makes me understand maybe more so than I actually did before the like let them race ideology, where to a certain degree maybe the racers know better than we do. And there's something about that, like, that's not necessarily what I want to say. There's there's something about now that I'm rethinking my point, I'm thinking of the moment where the Joker is hanging upside down in front of the Batman and he says, "This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object." It seems like we have another iteration of something like that happening where Senna was the immovable object and Elaine was the unstoppable force, right? And it feels like we may have gotten another situation like that in 2021 where maybe these people that are like the they cannot be bound by the rules that we have, and watching Senna and him go back and forth was like, okay, so yeah, this isn't new at all. This isn't new at all. And that was like exciting to me. Mhm. Mhm. And drivers using anything as a weapon and an edge. Yeah. And I think we just have to stop. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think we have to stop being mad at that because truly, then, like, are you a fan of racing? I would say not. Sure, sure. Mm-hmm. And even with a little more hindsight is 2020, and this take is a bit of a joke, I will say, but like for the season that the racers were having, it may have been like a bit of a meta call. Like, has Fernando Alonso ever done that before? Doubtful. I'm sure if you look back, you may be able to prove me wrong. But if he's never done it before, maybe that's him taking a look at what was going on and saying, okay, their turn one, lap one calls are like almost non-existent. Lewis, Max, and whoever the fuck at the front are wild. He's like, I'm just gonna avoid that craziness. I think that is the like best meta call that we're ever gonna see, where he read the playing field beautifully. Yeah. And surprisingly, like that's skill expression in an environment where you don't see much. The margins for mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting and I have to say a fascinating sport to learn about. And with the help of, just some of the resources that are out there, it's painting a bigger picture. It's fun stuff. Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead. Yep. And Cloud9 win. Of course they did. Now, did you watch these games at all? Okay. Did they have a map? Brutal. How were the casters? I almost don't want to believe you, but I'm with you. Okay. For how long esports has been around. Okay. 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 Gotcha. Right. 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 You get no sense of like of okay. Wait, what? That's so weird. Gotcha. Right. Okay. Sure. So so instead of shitting on okay, so what did it do right? Like what did you enjoy other than Cloud9 being the team at the top? What did you enjoy about it? Okay. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Right. Weird. Yeah. Well, that was the thing. If you can win with that, yeah, why not? Oh man, that's crazy. Right. Sure. Really? So, do you mean like these are names that you recognized? Gotcha, gotcha. Dude, right. Mhm. We still have a chance, dude. We can be Halo pros. Yeah. Mhm. Probably doing it. Right. Wow. I'm pretty sure the last competitive Halo was Halo 3 or maybe ODST had a scene, but yeah, I think it was Halo 3. Gotcha. Crazy stuff, man. A, yeah. Faker was 16 for League of Legends. What's that say? What's that say? Halo's the fucking retirement esport. You could go there when you're all slow and faded. Damn, dude. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure what their financial backing is like, how many different esports they're trying to get into. But yeah, I think in the spirit of having a healthy esports community, I think you do need the shooter community to be thriving as well. It can't just be your MOBAs and your fucking RTSs and whatever. But there is something where okay, why was Halo 3 the last fucking Halo game that had a competitive scene? Like there were other Halos in between. I just think if you want in today's day and age where people aren't just playing your game, they're consuming your game as their TV show. That's the hoodie that they're buying. That's the like the mouse that they want to get. You have to give them reasons to stay long term, and this is what I was talking about with the Valorant Masters funnel series, the Master funnel series into the Champions, where the casters had access to insanely good data to where they were able to paint these narratives and paint these stories and bring you moments from Reykjavik and Berlin and say, "Hey, remember when Nats was doing this back in Reykjavik? Well, here, look at this play. Like this is Nats upgraded, right?" You need to create a reason, and it's manufactured, obviously. You just make it up, but you have to create longevity and long-term interest with your game. And there's something to be said where if people aren't playing your game because maybe they can't, they're at work, they're driving, whatever, if the esport is unwatchable, unconsumable, eventually it's going to fade out of the mind. I really believe if you want to have a strong competitive game in the market, your esport has to be strong and watchable and have a good environment, because it's people are going to gravitate to the other things that have these massive communities, these massive tournaments to get behind, you know? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mhm. Yep. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I think there's even if Halo Infinite was the best game to come out in 2021, the way that they've packaged it for the competitive viewer, the one that wants to see it at its highest level, understand the veteran players, get to know the teams, and I want to learn about like, oh, where the sniper is on this map and what teams are really good at getting it. Like, one of the most fun conversations that was on the broadcast of the Valorant Masters was listening to them break down Fracture, and the data that they had on Fracture were like, oh, teams weren't sure like how to deal with like this push and that push. If you watch this team, they use ropes, but blah blah blah. There's something about having informed viewers that to me seems like the right way to go about broadcasting, and I think that's completely what my angle is coming from. Is you're just working with so little information on that Halo stream that it's hard to like, it's hard to know. Sure. Right. Did he dodge vision of like, and then go ahead. Sure. Just to piggyback on your note about the casters describing a play, maybe now we're actually figuring out, maybe maybe bringing it against the casters isn't the right thing. Maybe without offloading some of the data management to the viewer, maybe that actually gives, maybe there's a problem of too much information that these casters are like knowing that they have to like dish out and try and be aware of and portray to the viewer. So maybe it's a problem of just like we're talking about data management, where maybe the casters have too large of a responsibility now to and now they don't know what to say or what the best way to portray it is because so many angles are like uncovered. Yeah, there you go. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Mhm. It could be something. More data. Hmm. Okay. Well, I can appreciate that. That's an interesting take. You're definitely kinder to it than I was. Sure. Hmm. Sure. Yeah, we had the Demacia Cup. I didn't get to. I didn't catch like the full thing. I just checked in with it. To be honest, I didn't even really realize it was going on. So this is pre LPL season. This is all. I don't want to say it's all the LPL teams. I think it's. I think it was most of the LPL teams. I'm pretty sure there were 24 teams in total that started out the tournament. They went through. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep. Gotcha. Okay. So this was like big China in-house tournament basically. Go ahead. That is pretty rough. I'm curious what their roster looks like. They may have like a bunch of like young rank 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9, in the fucking on the super server. You know what I'm saying? Like there are some insane motherfuckers um over on the other side of the pond. Yeah. If they're streamer teams, they could probably be much younger as well, right? I don't know what the contract rules are. Sure. No, they've held the Demacia Cup every year. Gotcha. Are you calling into question the competitive integrity of the Demacia Cup, dude? Damn. I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. Team Fire and Ice. Yeah. I mark my words. When Faker comes back for a streamer team and whoops ass on somebody, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, dude." I mean, if Faker's beating them, they probably can't be that good, dude. I'm gonna be like, "It was an exhibition." You're gonna be like, "Yeah, but it was Faker, dude." But I will remember that. He still got it. He still got it. Yeah. Oh man. Eventually, He's just gonna wanna make paper airplanes. Well, he may want to do that too, but I was gonna, I was just thinking of some simple living where, like, he's just like, no more minion killing. I cannot kill another minion. So many unnecessary lives have been ended. And he's just like, no more. I will be a part of no more death. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit. That would be a trajectory that, well, obviously we predicted it now, but previous to this moment would have been unforeseen. Back to the Demacia Cup though. So we had EDG get knocked out in the 5 to 8 stage. So I think that speaks to, and just like we saw at the finals, where EDG beats Don Juan Gaming, they were not able to defend their seat. EDG goes to the Demacia Cup exhibition matter. But they go and they get knocked out. Literally, the world champions do not win. It went to TES and FPX in the final. Went to all 5 games. Pretty exciting. Um, Overall, I would just like to comment. The meta has shifted a little bit. We've had a bunch of patches since Worlds. Obviously, we've got different dragons on the board now. We've got the Hextech Dragon and the Chemtech Dragon. So changes are being made there, some fun stuff. But picking bands, I wanted to throw at you. So a lot of the picks were pretty common. We saw late action bands, I think mainly on red side in some of the later knockout stages. So that was kind of cool. But bands, Corky, Caitlyn, Nidalee bands coming through primarily in the knockout stage. So very different than what was the prio a couple months ago. Nice. Jeez. Jeez. He's up there. He's playing. He knows what's going on. Mm. Yep. Yep. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. It just gets halved, but even that half or whatever, it's uh wow. Gotcha. Well, there you go. Yep. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Is that gonna be the week 1 patch? Gotcha. Sure, or at least close to what's gonna be live January 14th. Yep. Gotcha. Mhm. Gotcha. Maybe making the clear a little bit easier. Cool. Mm. Yeah, especially coming in, I'm curious how aggressive some of these regions are going to be. We still saw Leona in the finals and in the knockout stages of the Demacia Cup, so obviously teams are still trying to go burr. Um, Prioritizing roaming, prioritizing winning pressure in the 2v2 at least. So that's yeah, that's pretty exciting. But yeah, the Demacia Cup overall just an exhibition tournament. But yeah, I just think it was fun to look at because one of the big things that caught my eye obviously was that just EDG got knocked out. This esport moves pretty quickly. Well, they should have. They made a pretty rough showing this past year at Worlds. Not getting out of groups was, I think that was a big wake up call for FPX and the organization. Yep. Yep. Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Now, were there any other esports things that you wanted to hit? Any other topics? Nice. Nice. Yeah, we had some got to play some webcam games over Spell Table, which is always really fun. Haven't played in person in a while. I think there was some illness, some work, and a bunch of other stuff. So we haven't seen Ian, Jason, and Brett in a good bit. But still some good Magic to be played. I would like to start here. I ordered some so I dabbled first with the idea of proxies by, sizing it up, printing it out, and putting it in front of a basic land, and like, okay, cool, that's my jeweled lotus. But after shuffling, after seeing them on camera, I'm like, man, seeing that like mountain at the top of my ill fit, Mox Diamond, let's see what we can do. So I went online, I found a nice service that's making proxies. So I ordered a couple of handmade proxies and I have to say I was blown away by the quality. They look very similar. Well, yeah, they look exactly the same. It's it's just a matter of the backing and whatnot. But it felt really cool to slide them in knowing that I didn't pay the insane premium for them, but they still like look good, they feel good, and I can still get the effect of that game piece. Because after long conversations with Sarah, I really came to the conclusion like I truly just want to think of them as game pieces that I'm playing with to gain an effect in the game. I don't want to think of them as these like cardboard financial investments that I'm playing like show and tell with, right? Because there's this weird sense of that sometimes. But the proxies they came, they got here, they're fucking beautiful. I'm super happy, and I think it's going to be a route that I go much more in the future as a way to access powerful cards but not break the bank. Because nobody I'm playing with online gives a fuck, and even if I go this way, no one will even know the difference because they're fucking immaculate. They're beautiful. Yeah, yeah, it was sweet. And then, hmm yeah, and there's a world where people have, you're not even beholden to the original art as long as you have certain elements of the card like mana cost, name, maybe a description of what it does, things like this. um as long as you have the spirit of the card left, a lot of people appreciate like having different art or altered art, or have it painted on or whatever. People definitely appreciate adding flavor. So yeah, I think that's fun and definitely a route that I'm gonna look into more. There's a and this was the next angle that I was getting into. So when you order cards, cards come out of decks, and as I've talked about before, I love using this opportunity to just like get rid of cards that I know I'm not going to use, put them all in the bulk bin, and just plan to offload them, turn them into something better. So in making swaps, I was able to pull a bunch out at had me look critically at other cards in my binder. I kind of reorganized things a little bit and said like, this is a card that's cool. I like the art. I like this idea or blah, blah, blah. So I used that in organizing. I said, well, I can put those in these binders. I'm not like wasting space or using up space, but also it's not a card that I'm thinking like when I flip through it in the binder, I'm going to look and say like, oh, can that go in this deck? I'm building a red deck. This is a red card. Does that go in the deck? Because I'm never going to put it in a deck. I don't want it in a deck. I just think it's cool. I just want to look at it, right? So I kind of made some of those separations, and I made hard evaluations of cards. I was like, am I going to care to have this in a year? Do I want to play with this? So many decks I went through and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, another, cut phase. But it felt really good to do because I was building a new deck, Lesha, who smiles at death. She's an older commander, but I had bought her a while back, and she was in the cube, and I'm making changes to the cube, putting more powerful cards in there. I want to put some proxies in there. So just like a bunch of things moving and shaking, and it feels really good. Yeah. Yeah. And then another angle. So a lot of that I know you can't really comment on. It's, me just whatever. But now let me throw this at you. What do you think about parasocial relationships on like social media and the internet? Is there a sense in which, because this is an issue that I've experienced in being like invited to these games and playing with some of these people, where I'm having this like weird sense of like familiarity, and this was my original gripe with social media, where it felt like people that I wouldn't want reaching out to me were just able to reach out to me by virtue of being just like on the same internet space, and that to me felt weird. And I'm experiencing like the flip side of it, where I'm like, how much access do I really have to these people just by virtue of, playing with them or chatting with them once or twice, right? Because what I'm finding is in maybe one or two scenarios that, I don't have to elaborate really, but it may be one or two scenarios where, um, maybe I thought there may have been a little bit more of a back and forth, not not anything. So that made me think of, so maybe, and I don't want to say anybody's a bad person, but it just makes me look critically at the types of possible relationships that can crop up when you're dealing in this world of like over the internet. Yeah. Yeah. Big time. Right. 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 Yeah. Right. Sure. And that's like totally okay from their perspective. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's big time tough, and that's been an element over, playing with some of these guys. Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm not saying that I've been treated poorly in any way. It's just an Yeah, just an observation about things going on. Right. Right. Well, and then you find, because like you're talking about, and more, I want to like turn the light on me. It's not even anything that these individuals are doing wrong. Like I think that's what I'm getting at, where it's like it's not something I really have like grown up with. So there's obviously a lot of elements that I'm just like missing. And think of it like I'm trying to like speak Italian, but people are like, "Oh, doesn't he know that means like cunt actually?" And it's when I'm just like looking for the table or looking for the bathroom or something. So overall, I'm just like, damn, man, these are murky waters. Ah, right, right. Red bag, green bag. Right. Yep, 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 yep. And and I respect the fuck out of that guy. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Just based on screen names. Right. 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 Yeah, it's tough, but there've been yeah, it's tough, it's fun, it's enjoyable. Obviously, it's a problem that I hope to have with our community. I hope people want to like, talk about games and talk about races with us. I hope people want to just shoot the shit eventually. Um but yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think it was part of my original gripe with, Facebook and all that. So it's just interesting getting a little bit closer to it and realizing man, just because this program is showing that you're on the same thing, you have access to the same tools, that doesn't necessarily mean that right, that you should have anything to do with each other at any given time. Um, right, right. And the tank top would look similar. Yep. Yes, it would. But yeah, so those are just some interesting quandaries I've run into lately. And like I said, I've been in no way slighted. I've met nothing but good people and have good games and good times. These are just based on some observations. These are just questions that have come up, and I just find them interesting. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But an insanely modern one. Like, that to me is what's so fascinating about it. Like, 4 people playing over camera in their own homes, like, with their hands. It's a very, very different dynamic, that, you don't see all the time. So, yeah, I'm glad we were able to talk about it. It's fun. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Give me yours. I've been talking forever. Mm. Nice. Yeah. Expensive taste, Jesus. Damn. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's funny. Get in your fill. But they're still singing that song, like, they're still singing. Oh, dude, there's no way that those can be good. Sure, sure, I'll give you that. Ooh, okay. Mhm. Yeah, wait, sure, I can appreciate that, that's cool. Mhm, mhm, okay, mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, with the fucking leather and the black fucking glasses. Dude, like, it's actually laughable, yeah. The slow-mo where it, like, spins. Mhm. Yeah. Well, hey, if you stick around to the credits, it'll tell you. So you watched Resurrection. Hell yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, welcome to the fold. Yeah. It is cool. But it's like the Beatles. Like if you weren't there at the time, it loses a lot of its luster. Like part of the greatness about it was it's like its point in cinema history. Like that was groundbreaking at the time. But you go back after seeing like, Avatar and fucking Jimmy Fallon in blackface and Tropic Thunder, like you're like, wow, every trick really has been done and that isn't that cool anymore. So, however, that's what I'm saying. Um, but no, there's something about the ideas that they wrestle with and whatever. I think there's something there, but yeah, like the wardrobe, fucking Keanu Reeves is like the male Kristen Stewart, just no emotion, fucking flat. It's so boring. He's not like a dynamic actor at all. Yeah, it's rough. No, that's just acting. No, that's just acting, bro. Like that's just what it is. Like so it makes me question the whole institution. Why is Keanu Reeves like so like sucked off? Couldn't tell you. I don't know. But yeah, whatever. I don't care about any of it. That's fun, dude. Matrix, fucking Resurrection, best movie of the year. That's my flavor of the week, dude. Yeah. No, no, I'm definitely just kidding. No, my visual medium is The Witcher 2, Witcher season 2. It was pretty good. Although there's something like just be done, dude. Just tell your story and finish it. Just finish it. Stop stop bringing me in for 100 years. Like there is a point where I have to check out. Like if it's not done on season 3, and this is I'm just using this as an example. This is pretty much anything. Like if you're not done by the second or third season, if you're not wrapping shit up tight, if the character development isn't there, like if The Witcher is still around in 7 years, where Henry Cavill shipped out, they have a new one, they work it into the story where they can die, this is the new Witcher, and just like keep it rolling, folks. There's something where I'm like, it stops being this like piece of art that I enjoyed, and it just becomes like a product. So I hesitate to like, oh well, this was really good, because even the season 2 had elements of like, oh, okay, where is this really going? It's like, are these elements just to keep telling a story, or are you taking the time necessary to tell the story you want to tell? Or are you just continuing to talk? Yes. 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 So I have hesitations there with anything. However, this was pretty cool. I really like Henry Cavill in the role. I think it fits him well. So far, it's like it's compelling, it's dark. So yeah, it's still really fun. But also, if you have it, F1 TV, those docu-series, man, super interesting. Go ahead. Yeah. There's no F1 app. Just not for those. Right. 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 Not a good way to do it. Yeah. Yeah. But if you get to them, those are really fun. Yeah. So, couple of visual medium things. Sarah made her ham bone soup. That's fucking amazing. Not as good as your steak dinner, I'm sure. That sounded banging, by the way. And then for music, we've been doing this like fun thing. I think it's been building for a while. So we have this knack for like getting songs into each other's head. So we've just started tracking it, and now there's like this interesting game developing where like we're just singing songs around each other, trying to get the other person to sing the song. And we have like a scoreboard up on the fridge. And yeah, so we're like tallying it up at the end of every month. And then the idea is to win like a date ticket where we can come up with like an idea and like cash it in and plan and like go and do it. So it's just kind of a way to, just whatever, get things moving. Um, but currently she is in the lead for January, but I won December. Which in all fairness, we only had it for like a week, but I did win. There you go. Yep. And then if it gets stuck in your head and you catch yourself singing it, she gets a point. There you go. There you go. Unless you catch yourself singing hers all the time, then you might just want to not. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, you're not as flamboyant as I am. I hop around here in a tutu, brother, singing songs. Yeah, but that's my flavor of the week. I took up too much time. Yes, sir. Just want to say, as usual, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Every like, every subscribe, every comment super helps us out. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Just tell us how you feel. Again, just thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. This has been another episode of the Tall and Short of It podcast. Peace out, everyone.